Welcome to another episode of The Chosen Scoop. I'm Jim Luff for Chosen Payments. Joining me today is Heather Mason. She is the president of the National Bicycle Dealers Association. Heather, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Jim. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, let's just jump right into it and share with me a little bit. What is NBDA?
Oh, wow. We are the National Bicycle Dealers Association. We've existed since 1946. We serve bicycle retailers, individuals, brands, suppliers all over North America. We are an organization that our mission vision is to educate retailers and make sure they're the most profitable they can be in every aspect of their business.
Cool. So you've been around for quite a while. Tell us, so you are the president of the association. Is that an elected position or how did you wind up there?
Yeah, we are a non-for-profit organization led by a governing board of directors. I am the president. I was chosen into this position in February 2021. So I've been here just a little over a year now and just excited. It's been an ongoing role that just continues to develop daily with new challenges and tasks in front of us.
I can only imagine. And I have to ask, are you a cyclist?
Well, yes, of course. Actually, I was a professional cyclist at one time. I also was a bicycle retailer myself, owning a shop for several years, worked on the supply side, and then came into this role supporting retailers.
Okay, so you've definitely lived in the bicycle world. And I understand somebody told me that you like to be known as the National Bicycle Dealers Association and not to refer to it as bike. Is that a thing?
Oh, well, I guess when you say bike, you could, like if you Google search bike, you could get motorcycle, you can get any number of things. So yeah, using the word bicycle definitely streamlines to the specialty bicycle retailers that we support.
And so you mentioned that you've been around, or the organization has been around since the 40s. How did it get started? Do you know the history of it?
Well, retailers just came together, decided to come together to better support each other through the relationships with suppliers, just changing times in retail landscape. I don't know all the fine details, but I know that over the time the organization has changed. There used to be chapters, and now it's more of a governing body for the whole entire U.S. Actually, we're now expanded even to Canada. So a few retailers getting together many years ago. Now we have over 700 members in our organization.
And where are you located? Where is the actual offices?
Okay, so our actual stamp is in Irvine, California, although with COVID, the two of us on the team are working from home. So I'm in upstate New York, and then my colleague is in Irvine.
Yeah, and that was going to be the next question because a lot of people did have to pivot during the pandemic. I myself am still working from home. Can't say that I mind that. It was definitely a little bit of an adjustment coming into it. But do you so with you being based on the East Coast, how often do you get out to Irvine?
Oh gosh, we travel so much. Part of what the organization does is we support trade shows, we support retailer events. So I do travel often. We've been to Irvine once a year to do, in-person work with my colleague, but we do travel throughout California and throughout the entire United States.
That's cool. And what does a typical member of your association look like? Is it larger bike dealers? Is it smaller? Is it all? Who joins?
Oh, Jim, that is the thing. Bicycle retailer is so diverse these days, right? So in our bylaws, a member of the NBDA should be a specialty bicycle retailer. But what specialty bicycle retailer looks like these days is a little bit different. So we have retailers with single doors. So a single location. We have retailer members that have up to 15, 16, 17 locations under one name. We have mobile bicycle retailers. We also work with individuals such as sales representatives, bicycle fitters, bicycle mechanics. And we also work with brands, suppliers, and other organizations within the industry. So we actually have a diverse membership.
So it's not just limited to people selling bicycles in a retail store.
Well, our bylaws state that the MBDA was created for bicycle retailers, but we know that the industry is diverse, and we welcome everyone to our organization so we can sit together and have those really important conversations that are able to bring us to the next level. So not just bicycle retailers can join. Yep.
Yeah, and obviously, Chosen Payments and NBDA have a partnership that is beneficial for the members. We'll speak to that in a moment, but what are some of the other benefits that a member might enjoy being a part of your association?
Oh gosh, I think too often when we're in a role, and especially running a retail operation, we're just caught up with the day-to-day tasks of what need to be done that we don't give ourselves time to continue our own education as a person. So the NBDA exists to provide those educational moments. So as a member, you have access to webinars that could be based on website development, maybe based on your payment processing. It could be based on collecting emails and using emails strategically within your shop, merchandising, sales training. So a full run of webinars. We have peer-to-peer opportunities because sometimes it's best to sit with other people who are facing the same struggles you are and
Sure.
really talk through and find solutions. And then in addition, we do trade shows throughout the year and different, we have a podcast just like this for our members. So there's lots of opportunities and then special savings for MBDA members to work with our association partners so they can, save some money in their store.
Definitely. And I think, that's where our partnership came in and was based on providing your members with discounted credit card processing based on the sheer volume of members that you have. It's kind of like going to Costco. When you're buying in volume, you get it cheaper.
Mhm.
With credit card processing, when you have a large organization like yourself that are all, you're basically in one industry and could, in theory, every single one of your members be considered a location of a master umbrella account. So we're able to provide some great discounts to your members strictly because of your size. Now, you talked a minute ago about education. And I know that I believe it was towards the end of 2021, you had a trade show or a convention in Utah. Can
Mhm.
you share a little bit more about what was involved in that convention? And I'm kind of jealous that some of my colleagues were sent there. I believe it was Sarah and Katie,
Yeah.
or Sarah and Carol, uh,
Carol, yeah.
and I didn't get to go. So what did I miss out on?
Oh my God, Jim, the best show of the year. Yeah, the industry trade show. The Big Gear Show is an annual event that is hosted in Deer Valley, Utah, and it's just an amazing opportunity for the trades, not only of the bicycle industry but also of the outdoor sporting goods industry, to come together in an outdoor show. So great for social distancing measures and look at new products, sit down in educational webinars, meet with existing suppliers, meet with other retailers, and just get a couple days out of their store, focused on learning product knowledge, trends for the future, and just really dedicated to purchasing and buying awareness. You should come
And
this
these big
year.
shows, yeah, maybe I'll get there this year. About how many people attend your show on average each year?
So it definitely will fluctuate this past year because of the COVID still, affecting everyone's travel. And that did affect it a little bit. We still had a couple hundred, almost 400 retailers, and we expect that number to almost double this year. So
Well, I hope I'm one of those that is coming that hasn't been in the past. Um, you've mentioned webinars a couple different times now. So, what would share with me two topics on webinars that were covered?
Oh gosh, so we just undertook a consumer research study where we surveyed 2,500 new cyclists who have come, or cyclists, and those who have come into our sport within the past 2 years. We asked them where they purchased and what their future purchase intent was. So we had a webinar recently about that to bring that information to our retailers to help them with their strategy of planning, purchasing forward. And then we also have e-bikes are really booming in the US, and there's a lot of concern about e-bike batteries, safe storage, and recycling. So we've had some recent webinars on those two topics as well.
That's fantastic. My wife and I discovered e-bikes during the pandemic. We, you know, you still want to get out of the house and go places, and especially when we were at the beginning of 2020 in March, when we were on total lockdown, and you almost felt isolated from civilization. And my wife and I, we live here in California, so we went down to the Santa Monica Pier And we really just went to get out and catch some ocean air. And we found a bike dealer right there on the pier. And he had regular bikes and he had e-bikes. So we're not really cyclists. So the e-bike looked like a pretty good option. And of course, we made sure we took plenty of pictures of us on the bikes for social media,
I love
but we made sure that we didn't show the battery pack so that it looked like we were actually out uh, out
that.
exercising.
It's still a workout, Jim. I'm telling you, those e-bikes, you're still getting a workout. So
And I definitely exercised with the pedal pushing myself. I did not rely totally upon the battery, but it was an exhilarating experience to be riding next to the beach. I don't know if you're familiar with Santa Monica, but the area between Santa Monica and Venice Beach, California, has a bike path that is just fabulous. It runs right along the ocean. So we did that trip on the electric bikes. I wasn't worn out at all when it was over. It was like it was really great. Let's talk about your organization and Chosen Payments. How did we connect? How did that evolve?
well, we were looking to offer our members a savings on their credit card processing. And I am so thankful that we connected with the Chosen Payments team from the first, I'm a very authentic person and I don't like to push anything on people. I don't like to be sold. And I don't want to direct my members in a direction that's not best for their business. And the initial call with the team at Chosen Payments just felt so good, and the team has just continued to impress us every time that we interact with them. So I'm not quite sure how that initial contact was made, but we wanted to offer this to our members, and we found the right team for that.
I really appreciate you saying that, and we definitely look for partnerships such as your association that we can really do justice in. And just as you mentioned, you don't want to refer your members to somebody who's not going to meet their needs or provide any real benefit. We're the same in picking associations. I know that there are a lot of credit card processors out there that will process credit cards for anybody that comes knocking on the door, but we tend to stay with about 12 different niche industries. And it's not just about doing credit card processing, it is about truly understanding your business and truly being able to address the members' needs based on their needs and not what we feel should come in a box that we're going to provide to them as a new client. And I happen to know that your dedicated account executive is Carol Grant within our company. And Carol herself is an avid cycler.
I know.
So, that is the type of relationship that we truly embrace, where we're able to understand what's best for your business. And I mean, there are some businesses or industries that we're involved in. For example, we are very big in the funeral industry and partners with a lot of state funeral director associations. Obviously, their business is much, much different than your business, but it gives us the opportunity when we entrench ourselves in an industry to learn that the pandemic changed the way funerals were handled, and many younger people died from COVID that really had not saved money. Their families hadn't saved money. There would be no reason to be thinking about somebody dying in their mid 30s until the pandemic came. So we saw an increase in funeral homes using families presenting as many as 5 credit cards to pay for one funeral. So I think it's really good when we're in touch with the industries that we serve. I think it's excellent when we have an account executive that is involved and engaged in your industry. And I know that when she traveled to Utah, that she expressed that she had an absolute great time. Hey, let's talk about COVID and bikes. Did you see an increase in, I mean, I mentioned my experience. Did people go out and buy bikes because they had nothing to do and needed to exercise?
Yeah, once bicycle retailers were deemed essential, we did see a huge increase in the bicycle industry, with gyms being closed, kids being home, families, travel being reduced. People took to bikes. I mean, I'm in upstate New York, and in March, it's cold here. And I remember looking out the window and seeing people on bikes. I was like, wow. So yeah, the industry did it. We saw a huge boom, and we continue still to see that increase. We did have some supply issues because of the boom, and those are getting a little bit better now, but definitely we went from how are we going to get more people into our sport to wow, look at all the people into our sport. And so that was awesome.
And does your association address consumer safety or strictly work with bike dealers?
If something comes down the pipeline that could be a concern, a risk that we want to make sure that the consumer population is educated on, it is a good place to let the retailers know about it because they can most likely educate their own community. So in that regard, we do. And such thing recently would be safe storage of e-bikes at your house and the batteries and whatnot. So we do make sure that we pass along any information that is, of interest to retailers so they can pass it along to their communities too.
That's great. And in terms of resources, I assume you guys have a website?
NBDA.com. Yep.
And are there resources within the website that bike dealers can access?
We a lot of the programming and content that our organization does is available to retailers regardless of membership. So yeah, if you're not sure about what we do, if you want to just have, take a look at our podcast, yeah, see some of our blog posts, all that is free and accessible on nbda.com.
All right. Now, I'm going to assume as we wrap this up that everybody that watched this that's in the bike business that's not a member probably wants to become a member today. How can they become a member?
Yeah, it's very simple. If you go online to our website, as I said, nbda.com, there's a link there to join. Also, feel free to reach out to me. I love interacting with retailers, answering any questions. I'm Heather at nbda.com. And we'd love anyone to join our organization. Of course, the more people that join, the more, the bigger we are and the more that we can do. So.
And on that note, from our end at Chosen Payments, the larger an association is, the better discounts we can give. So if you're part of an association and you think we should be a part of it, reach out to me, jim.luff@chosenpayments.com. We'd love to hear from you. We have been talking with Heather Mason. She is with the National Bicycle Dealers Association. Heather, thank you so much for your time today and this informative information.
Jim, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's been a pleasure.
I hope you'll join us again on another episode of The Chosen Scoop.